Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make a watercolor chart. So for this video you're going to need some watercolor paper. This is currently my favorite student grade or affordable paper. It's called the Fabriano Fat Pad and it is 140 pound, 300 GSM. This paper is very comparable to the Canson XL watercolor paper, except this one is slightly better because it is 25% cotton. This goes for about 30 bucks and it has 60 sheets. Now you want to do your watercolor chart on the paper that you're going to be using, because if you do your chart on, say for example, Arch's watercolor paper, the paint may react differently on that paper than the paper you'll actually be using. So once you have your watercolor paper, you're going to need 2 jars of water, one for dirty water only and then one for clean water only. And then you're going to need your paints. This chart is specifically based on my watercolor travel palette. If you are interested in seeing the unboxing and setup of this watercolor travel palette, I will leave it linked above for you. So the colors that I have in this palette are the ones that I have on this chart, so that way I can get a good idea of what kind of mixes I can get from these 12 colors. I wrote them all out going in order of a rainbow, so Roy G. Biv. So I did it in rainbow tones. You don't have to do it that way, that's just how I wanted to do it. You can put your colors in any order you want. You just have to make sure that you put them in the same order across the top as you do down. If you mix up the order, then it will mess up the chart and it won't really work out. So once you have your colors picked out, and it doesn't have to be 12 colors, it can be as many colors as you want, you just have to make sure you can fit it all on your piece of watercolor paper. So I recommend drawing your chart in pencil first with an eraser, so that way if you need to make any changes, you can easily erase and redo it before committing. Next, you're going to need a ruler. So I leave 1 to 1.5 inch size for my names, and then I do 1/2 inch squares. I find 1/2 inches are a good size for watercolor charts. Once you have your chart all laid out the way that you want and everything looks correct, you're going to want to go over all your lines with a waterproof pen or ink, so that way it doesn't smear when using our watercolors. For mine, I used a Sakura Pigra Micron. And lastly, you're going to need a paintbrush. I chose a relatively small paintbrush with a squared off end to easily get edges of these squares. Now the way this watercolor chart is going to work is wherever the colors match each other, you're going to paint the color directly from the pan, the pure color. Quin rose will be here, light red will be here, orange here. So all the pure colors will be on this diagonal, and the mixed colors going down will be saturated, and the colors going across to the right, these will be the lighter tones. That will probably make more sense once I start to paint, so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm not using the paints directly from my palette. I'm going to put this aside and use the paints that I have in here, but out of my regular palette. The watercolors that I am using for this is my Mission Gold set. If you are interested in any of these supplies, I will leave them linked in the description below for you. So to start, our Quin Rose matches Quin Rose. So this will be our pure Quin Rose color. So this will be the color straight from the pan. So this is our dirty cup, so we rinse our brush in here. So now that we have our pure Quin Rose down, we're going to do our pure light red in this square here where it meets. So we're going to take our clean water and our light red, and here is the pure light red straight from the pan. So we're going to rinse our brush in the dirty water. And now in this square here, it's going to be light red plus quinacridone rose, and this is going to be the darker saturated color, and this one's going to be the lighter color. So you're going to take your clean water, get some of your Quin Rose, you're going to do just 1 dab of paint, you're going to rinse in your dirty water jar, get some clean water, and get some of your light red. Now you're going to want to try to get a 1-to-1 ratio as best as possible. So you're going to mix the two colors together, and this will be that light red and Quin Rose combination. If it looks too much like one or the other, you're going to want to add the opposite color. And you want to be very careful about touching edges so that way they don't leak into each other. Okay, so we're going to rinse our brush off. And to get the lighter square up here, you're going to take clean water and go into your mixture with just a little bit of paint. And that's the lighter mixture. And rinse in the dirty water. Okay, so we're moving on to the next color, which is orange. And the two oranges meet here in this square. So we're going to get some clean water and get my orange color. And you don't need a lot of water because these squares are quite small. So we're doing our pure orange color here. We're going to rinse in the dirty water. So now we need to mix our orange with light red and Quin Rose. And I'll show you how we can do this. So take some clean water, pick up some more orange, and go to a clean area on your palette and do 1 drop, 2 drops of orange. And that doesn't look like a lot of paint, but I can assure you that's enough for this little tiny 1/2-inch square. So we rinse after putting down the orange. We pick up some clean water, and we're going to grab a little bit of the quinacridone rose and mix it in. And this is going to be the Quin Rose with orange. We're going to rinse. And we're going to pick up some clean water and do the same mixture but just very diluted. And that's going to be the Quin Rose and orange square up here. So we're going to rinse. We're going to take the clean water, and this time we're going for an orange light red mixture. So we're going to take some of our light red and go into this clean orange pile. And that's going to go down here because this is the saturated. We're going to rinse our brush again in the dirty jar, take some clean water, and dilute that mixture. And that's going to the light red orange square. And rinse in the dirty water. Okay, I hope that's starting to make more sense for you. So let's continue on to our pure yellow ochre. So they meet in this square here. We're going to take our clean water and get our pure yellow ochre and paint that square. And we're going to rinse our brush. And now we have to clean our palette so we have a clean mixing area. And you want to do this so that way your watercolor chart is as accurate as possible. So we're just going to clean these off. Now these blue paper towels are really thick, almost cloth-like. These are often used in car garages, so you can find them in the car section in like Walmart, but I will also leave a link to some in the description below if you're interested in these. These are perfect because when they dry out, they go back to being very thick and can be used many more times than a regular paper towel, in my opinion. So I really like these and definitely recommend them. Okay, so now we have a clean palette. We're going to take our clean water. We're doing 3 mixes with the yellow ochre. We're going to do Quin Rose, light red, and orange. So we're going to want 3 piles of yellow ochre and rinse. So I'm going to start with the Quin Rose with yellow ochre. So I'm going to take my clean water and get some of my Quin Rose and mix it. You're going to rinse your brush, take some clean water and dilute that same mixture. And this is the yellow ochre with Quin Rose up here. You're gonna rinse your brush again, get some clean water, and we're gonna do our light red mixture next. So we're gonna grab a tiny bit of the light red and mix that in. More saturated color down at the bottom. We're going to rinse our brush, get some clean water, and dilute that same mixture. And that's yellow ochre and light red. So it goes in this square here. We're going to rinse. And now we're moving on to the orange and yellow ochre mix. So get some clean water, get some of your orange, go to the clean pile of yellow ochre and mix. We're gonna put the darker color down here. We're going to rinse, get some clean water, and dilute that same mixture. Okay, so you can see your color chart start to form. So I'm just going to continue on with the same exact process, and I'm going to speed this up and see you at the end.
So here is my watercolor chart all complete, and while it's not perfect, I think I did pretty good. I tried to cover as much of the white line as possible and get enough of a variation to show the lighter shades of the colors so you can see a clear defined line across. This was my first color chart, so you can see quite an improvement just between the two. I did also rearrange the colors, which I mentioned in the beginning. This one I didn't really put in any kind of order, so that could also make it look a little disorganized. In this chart, I was working on my water control, and so my squares were very wet. So I was trying to put the next color with some space in between it, therefore leaving a lot of white lines. Whereas in this chart that I just did, I had a lot better water control. Therefore, it was drying in time before I put the next square's color in, and I could get a lot closer with my lines. There is a little bit of spillage over, but nothing too bad. So I can definitely see the improvement, and I'm really happy with it. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and I hope you go out and make a bunch of watercolor charts. It will definitely help you learn your colors and color mixing. We'll be doing color wheels in a separate video because I'm sure this color chart took up enough time. So again, I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!